Alex Gvozdyk, David Benavidez, wide gap here. Plus 400 on Alex Gvozdyk, minus 650 on Benavidez. Under 9.5 rounds, you got to lay 138. Over 9.5 rounds, get you even money, plus 100.
Here's the breakdown of the fight. I love Benavidez. I've said it before. I love the way he approaches boxing. Him and his father. I love his passion for the sport, the way he goes about his business. You know, he takes no prisoners, his confidence. I love everything about him. The way he conducts himself, he carries himself. I like everything about him. So when I say what I'm going to say, in no way is it a knock on my belief in him at all. But I think Gvozdyk has a good chance to win this fight. And I'll tell you why. He's first of all, he's a natural light heavyweight. Benavidez moving up. He's a big super middleweight, Benavidez. So he might be better off at light heavyweight, where he doesn't have to struggle at all to make the weight, because he was a huge super middleweight. And now maybe he's in a more comfortable class. So maybe that won't play. But up until we know whether or not it will play, it is something to consider. Gvozdyk's a natural light heavyweight. Bigger guy. I'm not saying he's physically stronger, but bigger guy. Gvozdyk has been on a weight program the last few years that he wasn't on earlier, that I think makes him stronger. I think it makes a difference in his physicality now. Now, the negatives. Gvozdyk was off for 4 years? Somewhere in that neighborhood. Retired. Former world champion. He only one loss to the great Benavidez, and he was winning going into the 10th round, and he ran out of gas. All right? Make it simple. But he's back. He's had 2 or 3 fights back. I'm not even sure. You can look it up. I don't know if he had 2. But they were with opponents. They were not with any caliber fighter where you say, oh, he showed this. I get it. I get why Benavidez is and should be a big favorite. He's been active. He's been demolishing guys. Gvozdyk was retired. He came back after 4 years. He had 2 or 3 fights.
Three fights. Three fights. A 6-rounder, 10 rounds, or 8-rounder.
All against, guys that you choose.
2 knockouts and a unanimous decision.
Guys you choose when you want to come back and not be taking a risk, and you just want to get your feet back in, get your feet wet back in the pool, make sure that nothing crazy happens. You don't want to, drown coming back. So you come back with safe opponents. All right, he's done that. The last one gave him some rounds, so he accomplished something with that. But it's been well-chosen, safe opponents. I think the reason Benavidez is so confident, one of the reasons for this fighting a former world champion. And look, 4 years old, Gvozdyk is about 37, 36 years old, somewhere in that neighborhood. So you could say, he's 37. Benavidez is young. He's been active. Gvozdyk's been retired. But you got to remember, the benefit, there's a pro and a con. Being away for 4 years, he hasn't taken any punishment. So he's not a guy that is 37 years old who's been fighting and he's used up and he looks like a 37-year-old. This is a guy who's been away for 4 years. He's 37, but he became 37 without taking punches, without being in a ring. So he's a fresher 37. That means something for me, in my world. Now, Gvozdyk's a good boxer. He can counterpunch. He can punch good. He can use the ring. He's got good legs. I know he's 36, 37, whatever, but I'm saying he's fresh. He's not used up. He can counter. He can go forward. He knows how to fight. Benavidez, of course, tremendous. World champion, super middleweight, aggressive, good body puncher, which I think is important for him to use the body punching with Gvozdyk. I think that, and a good, stiff, hard jab, I think that's important for him to use against Gvozdyk. All of that. I think part of the reason that Benavidez is taking this fight. The first part is the business part. It's a title eliminator to fight the winner. It's an eliminator, basically, to fight for the light heavyweight title against the winner of Bivol and Benavidez, which will be a huge fight. So that's the reason, business-wise. Otherwise, personal-wise, internally-wise, I think part of the confidence and reason Benavidez feels so good about this fight, fighting a former world champion, not seeing the danger that I see, is apparently they sparred together 5 years ago. And when they sparred together 5 years ago, from what I've been told, Benavidez had his way. And he even dropped Gvozdyk in the sparring session. So really dominated the sparring session. Here's the thing. That was before Gvozdyk fought for the world title. That's before he won the world title. That's before, quite frankly, before I trained him. And I didn't know anything about that. I think he's a better fighter now. Now, I haven't been around him for 4 years. So I can't, guarantee where he is mentally, emotionally. I know that he was taking care of himself. I know he don't have bad habits. I know he was in the gym during those 4 years, training, getting stronger with the physical weight program, with the weight program I just talked about. I know that. I don't know beyond that. But I just think that if Benavidez and his father are taking him on that sparring session, or partly on that sparring session, they could be setting themselves up to be surprised. Because you never want to be surprised when you go in the ring. You want to know what you're going into. You want to be prepared mentally for the kind of fight that might break out. Sometimes guys do get caught by surprise by being overconfident, by overlooking. It happens sometimes. I don't know if this is a candidate for that. It could be. I'm not saying it is because of the temperament of Benavidez and his father. They're serious guys. They've been around boxing their whole lives. So you would think that they would be wise to that kind of stuff and not be victims to that kind of thinking. But you never know. I'm going to put a play with my bookie, make-believe play for our fans out there. I'm going to take the plus 400. I think I'm getting plus 400. I'm going to take the plus 400. And again, nothing. I have nothing but respect and really more than just respect. Admiration. I like Benavidez. I root for Benavidez, to be honest. As a fighter, I root for him. I'm just saying, away from that, coldly business right now, I'm going to say Gvozdyk is worth a play, a small play, at plus 400. And also maybe a over bet on, just to go over too, in case he doesn't win, but it goes the distance. So those would be my two plays, and that's the reason. I think that Benavidez sometimes can be a little over-aggressive, be a little tiny bit wide with his shot sometimes, come in, he's a smart guy, he's a tough guy, he's an aggressive guy that finds a way to get his way, to fight his fight, to get obviously the result that he wants to get. He's never not done that. But I think there's opportunities for Gvozdyk with his skills, the skills that I remember he had, to counterpunch, to move a little bit, to pot shot on the outside. I think there's opportunities to maybe catch Benavidez getting a little wide, being a tiny bit of maybe reckless with his aggression, or standing in front, beat him to the mark, and then get out of town before Benavidez can corner him on the ropes. I think that there's enough of a reason in what I explained to give me a reason to put a small play. Again, this is not personal, business, to put a small play on Alex Gvozdyk.
If you like Gvozdyk to win a decision, you can get plus 920. Gvozdyk by decision. Gvozdyk by KO is plus 760. Or obviously you could take him at 6-1 at only 4-1 to win the fight. Plus 400 to win. Plus 760 on a KO. Plus 920 to win by decision.
I have to take that extra money you're offering me, Ken. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd have to take that extra. Instead of taking plus 400, I'd have to go and say, okay, by decision, give me the plus 900 or 960, whatever you just said.
920.
Yeah, 920. I'll put $100, for $100, a chance to get almost a G note back. I'll take a shot. I'll take a shot.